a young heir who grew up in a wealthy family. He wanted to see what the real workplace was like. He decided to hide his identity and start from the bottom at a small company. This decision shocked his father. His father kept urging him to stay in the family business. He thought there was no need to start from the bottom and struggle. But the son returned the check and insisted on his choice. His father had no choice but to agree. The next day, Edward took a private plane to work. He even made a grand entrance by landing directly in front of the company building. He made up his mind to let go of all his status and prestige and start a new life on his own. But things didn't go smoothly at first.
신임 며칠 더 있다 온다네.
왜요?
A few days later, Edward recovered and was discharged from the hospital. He flew to the company again. This time, he vowed to be truly independent.
허리야. 실례했습니다.
Edward walked confidently into the company. He exuded the aura of a CEO. His colleagues saw him and greeted him warmly. When he reached the office, he sat down in a chair. He looked around. This place is tiny, but he quickly reminded himself, pull yourself together. But the next moment, the person who actually held this position stood in front of him. When they learned he was the new employee today, they led him to the desk assigned to newcomers.
매우 마이크로하군요.
Then, he greeted his colleagues proactively, but he didn't know. The girl he met last night, who was unusually strong, also worked at this company, and she was in the same department as him. The girl recognized him immediately. Thinking about what happened last night, she suddenly became nervous. To avoid being recognized, she quickly lowered her bangs to cover her face, then made an excuse to go to a meeting. The girl hid along the way, even crouching behind a sofa to observe him. She quietly told her colleagues, the person she kissed last night was him. What shocked her even more, it wasn't a dream, and he had become her new colleague today. To avoid awkwardness, she kept avoiding Edward, but by lunchtime, they still ran into each other. The girl immediately grabbed 2 lettuce leaves to cover her face. Her colleagues curiously asked what she was doing. She hurriedly explained that she was checking which lettuce was fresher, but a colleague took the lettuce away. In desperation, the girl buried her face in her plate. Edward saw this and thought she really loved food. In the end, the girl escaped with the help of her best friend. Even at the company dinner, she wore a mask. Her colleagues were confused. The girl could only explain she was testing the company's product. But instead, she got scolded by the boss. She had no choice. She could only secretly remove the mask while everyone was drinking. Unexpectedly, Edward suddenly sat across from her. The girl immediately picked up the menu to cover her face, but the menu was taken by a colleague beside her. She had to use a beer glass to continue hiding. Edward thought her behavior was strange. He tried to move the glass to see her face, but the girl held it tightly. No matter how hard he tried, he couldn't move it. He had no choice but to give up. At that moment, Edward suddenly spoke.
계속 모른 척 하실 겁니까? 강미 씨?
The girl froze. Edward told her, since last night, he had been wanting